There's new ethics filings that show, because some of the system does still work, they are required to release this, and they did, that Trump has been trading heavily in the stock market, disclosing hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions, including in major companies. That includes securities and stocks in the tech space that obviously are involved with AI and other big ticket items that Trump oversees. Microsoft, which has a big stake in ChatGPT and OpenAI, they're in court this week as well on another issue. Facebook, Meta, Oracle, big purchases of Apple and NVIDIA. These companies have CEOs who also are very close with Trump. They've accompanied him to China, and you can see others there. And to be fair, there are other administrations that have tried to build business alliances, advocate for U.S. commerce abroad. The financial forms, though, show the timing of what Trump is doing, that he or his people on his behalf, but under his name and money, seem to be pretty actively trading. You can see here, NVIDIA, that's the kind of the big chip that's powering all this AI. You can see that purchase. You can see, of course, Tim Cook and others are very much involved with Trump this year. The financial forms show that he purchased that on February 10th. That was actually 8 days before the company announced a big deal with Meta. Now, we don't know from the documents whether that's one of those many coincidences or whether all of these meetings and discussions give a clue. No one's alleging insider trading here, but a clue in terms of access, of mood, of information that, hey, this is a good time to buy or not. Trump also touted AI software maker Palantir on Truth Social, meaning he's using his public platform, which is mixed with the fact that he's the president, to promote a stock that he purchased. On top of all that, Trump continues to operate through himself and his family, crypto and other business ventures to a degree we have never seen from a modern president. Ty Cobb, do you view this as aggressive, poor judgment, but ultimately legal, so it's okay? Or do you view what we know, combined with the other corruption allegations against the administration, as something that should concern Americans about whether this actually goes farther and undermines our administration, our trust in it?
Well, I think it does go farther, and I do view it as, intensely criminal. It's not illegal at all. It's never been done by another president. There's never been a president who has had the wholesale absence of frontal lobe control and impulse control to avoid the kind of corruption that Trump does on a daily basis, highlighted most recently by the $1.7 billion effort. But yeah, and these stock purchases are highly irregular. Rarely in history has a president, done anything remotely similar.
Can I slow you down on that point, Todd?
Sure.
Because you're an expert. You've been a White House lawyer. Most people haven't done that. You're reminding everyone that we don't usually have presidents actively trading in individual stocks just because they wouldn't even want to go near the conflict that when they're meeting with CEOs, which of course they may do, that there could be a conflict where their personal interest is against the public interest.
No, that's exactly right. And let's go back to the $1.7 trillion case or $1 billion case that we were talking about, the tax thing, which we don't have cases like that either, because historically every president has disclosed their tax returns voluntarily. Trump is upset because he tried to hide everything, largely because it's full of the false valuations, the fabricated losses that got him convicted of 34 felonies in New York. So he tried to hide all that. It came out in portions, and from a subcontractor to the IRS, not from the IRS directly, but from a subcontractor to the IRS, which is a defense that is available in that case. And the same thing is true in the stock things. Usually you have blind trust. Usually you have, total distance between a president's purchase and sale decisions, that he typically does not make it. It's handled by either a trustee or, family members or people that, are not directed by him to make purchases. And the timing of these things, as you point out, is there are no coincidences when it comes to Trump, Ari. There are no coincidences. So when Trump buys a stock and then promotes it, when Trump buys a stock and then promotes it, that's design.
I'm only jumping in to say, and I'm only jumping in to say we value you for your expertise. So you're free to say that. That's your view. The government can respond. In the news, we do more than coincidence, right? So I'm careful to say that. Go ahead.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I'm just saying there really are no coincidences. When Trump says I'm negotiating with myself, what he means is I'm going to take what I want. When Trump goes to China to get, a deal for Boeing to purchase 800 to 1,000 planes, leaves without a commitment and says it was a great deal, and they're going to have a bunch of disclosures about wonderful trade deals, and the farmers are going to be happy, notwithstanding the fact that under the last year in the Biden administration, they sold $27 billion worth of soybeans to China. Last year, they sold 14. This year, they're going to be lucky to, sell 7. He's ruined the markets because of his crazy tariff stuff, and the fact that we're shedding allies at a rate never before seen in American history. But he will continue to fabricate the status of those things.
Donald Trump's conduct has renewed scrutiny on his fitness, on how awake he is, and on what many see as late-night erratic behavior. He dozed off, apparently, during this meeting. You can judge for yourself since you see what's there, but that's gotten a lot of response. His late-night rants are drawing scrutiny, and the gaffes where he does seem to be rambling.
Are you concerned about the president's mental well-being?
Oh, 100%. I don't know how anyone can see what he posts or watch him in any meeting and think that he's fit for office.
We have strategic ambiguity. His is just all over the place. It's confrontational, it's inconsistent, it's erratic.
I don't trust that man to be able to cognitively make a complete sentence, let alone negotiate with China.
I think he's seriously ill. I think Trump needs medical attention, and there needs to be an intervention.
That's some of the response in Congress, where we see this is a mainstream issue, as it was raised at times for the last president. Ty, your view?
So it's not just my view. In 2017, Bandy Lee, a well-respected psychological professional trained at Harvard and Yale and highly regarded at the National Institute of Mental Health, and 26 of her colleagues and other respected psychiatrists around the world posted a lengthy journal article commenting on Trump's malignant narcissism and the appearance of frontal lobe, early frontal lobe dementia. The symptoms have only gotten worse. They are remarkable at this stage of the game, and the wake-sleep reversal is a very common symptom highlighted by mental health professionals when discussing Trump's cognitive decline. The fact that he's up late texting about excrement, putting memes out of Democrats in the reflecting pool, which I see behind you when it was still a reflecting pool in your graphic there, before he has changed it. The reality is what he does late at night causes him to sleep during the day. And that is a very well-known symptom of cognitive decline, frontal lobe dementia, Alzheimer's, and because he has no impulse control left, he is guided solely by his malignant narcissism, which everybody has recognized for years, and he practices only vengeance and greed now. Everything he does is about revenge and looting the government for his benefit.